All right, so James Harden, let's talk about it. Man, I'm getting tired of him and all these trade requests. He's been done this so many times. This is just starting to become part of him. The thing is, he had the option to opt out, and James chose to opt in. Once he did that, he took away full control. Now, I know the reason he's saying he opted in is because he wanted to get what was promised to him from Daryl Morey. But at the end of the day, Daryl's been a liar. James, you have been with Daryl all your life, basically. You know what guy you're dealing with. So don't act shocked when it's basically saying that, oh, Daryl's not doing what he said. He's not agreeing. You had your out. Take the chance. If I'm another team, I'm not really pressed to go for him. And that's why he had to opt in, because nobody wants to pay this man a max deal for another 4 seasons. That would be ridiculous. When you look at the way he's flamed down the playoffs all this time, this is just what the guy does. 7 games in the playoffs now in his career with more than 8 turnovers. The last time we seen this guy in the playoffs, he had 9 points off of 11 shots. That's not even giving real effort there. And then you have to look at things such as this. I know it's a team game, but these have been different teams, different scenarios. 8 times this team has lost an elimination game by double digits. 4 times this team has lost by 20 points in elimination games. That man is just not a winner. So I'm not going to be pressed to trade, give up real assets for a guy like that who's not a winner, who wants me to go give him another $40-50 million for 4 or 5 years. That is ridiculous. James, you need to get your head out your ass and come out and just play at this point. You had the out. If they give you the out, take the out.
Welcome to the rotation with Mike and John.
Shiesty ass motherfuckers.
Sorry. Mike and I always want to steal the show, so what can I say? Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Cinco Squad. I'm Jonathan Sawyer. With me is Mike, Trey, and Grandpa Jay. Fellas, happy Thursday. How's it going today?
Well, getting you wanted to leave me and Trey out of the show. It ain't going so great for us to start the show. What's up, fellas?
I'm doing fine.
Y'all got
fired. So you know,
you got the worst part about it.
Trey, did you even get your notice? I didn't get my notice.
No, I'm hoping for a severance package here.
See,
okay, so
the United States Postal Service, it's coming.
It'll be there at some point. But I want to know something, Mikey Mike.
Yes,
you've been hitting us with the facts of the year, brother. So let me know what's on your mind.
I'm particularly excited about this week's fact because it was kind of an out there fact I saw. I can't remember whether it was on the internet. I think it was on the internet, so social media. But this is out there and it's amazing. So we all know that, you know, in baseball, there's this thing called no-hitter, right? A lot of guys have thrown no-hitters, right?
Right.
Well, it just so happens 4 pitchers from Fullerton Union High School have pitched in the major leagues in MLB history. Fullerton Union High School in Fullerton, California. 4 have pitched in the majors, right? Walter Johnson, Hall of Famer, Steve Busby, Mike Warren, and Michael Lorenzen, who is currently a pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. What did Michael Lorenzen do recently? He threw a no-hitter. Well, it just so happens, guys, that all 4 of those guys have pitched no-hitters. The only 4 pitchers in that high school's entire history that have pitched in the major leagues have all thrown no-hitters. Mike Warren, I believe, is the one that threw 2.
Well, talk about pressure, right? Imagine that parent being like, you got to make it. If you make it, you're guaranteed a no-hitter, son. So you better get your ass back on the field and keep the
Exactly. Keep throwing. My arm hurts. Keep throwing.
I don't care. No-hitter.
You're a top pitching prospect. Like, it's got to feel so much pressure, but that's huge. And that was crazy. I think Michael Lorenz pitched the no-hitter while we were on the show last week. While we were recording the show last week. So
keeping the tradition alive.
I just think it's probably up there with one of the greatest moments because it's so difficult to do. And especially in nowadays baseball, because baseball is such a hitter's game. They've taken away everything from the pitchers that it's even more difficult. And now with all analytics and pulling pitchers, I don't know about you, but I hate the combined no-hitters. I think it's the worst thing since that baseball's done.
Yeah. I mean, it's still difficult. It is still difficult to keep a team, no matter who's pitching, from getting a hit. But yeah, it certainly, there's certainly kind of, you know, something less feeling to it as opposed to like one guy going out there and being able to make it, especially like you said, especially these days where pitchers aren't really allowed to throw that deep into games.
Yeah,
to have
exactly.
somebody that pitches in a whole game and gets 27 outs. And what amazes me is the guys that do it in under 100 pitches.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, the whole Orioles staff almost had a perfect game against the Yankees about 2 weeks ago. They had 18 strikeouts in one game.
27 outs made in the game. 18 of them were strikeouts. So I wanted to just take a minute to wish Daniel Murphy a very happy retirement and congratulations on a very successful career. He's a very solid player over the course of his career. And I think a lot of people don't realize exactly how good he was for a stretch of time. I mean, he was a doubles machine from 2012 to 2017, between 30 and 40 doubles per season during that stretch. 3-time All-Star. He finished second in MVP voting in 2016. And honestly, my memory of Daniel Murphy is being a solid contributor wherever he went, particularly the Mets and Nationals. I think he's going to go down as a Mets legend for the generation he was in when the Mets were trying to, stay afloat in that NL East along with the Phillies and the Braves and every so often the Marlins and then the Nationals once he joined them. Unfortunately, he did miss out on that Nationals World Series team by 1 year. He was on the Nationals in 2018, but then ended up going to the Cubs, and the Nationals won it the next year. But congratulations, Daniel Murphy. You were a fantastic baseball player, and I wish you best in retirement. And go somewhere sunny, go sit on a beach and have a few drinks because you've earned it, pal.
I want to tell you guys today that what happened to me. So I know this will probably get the show off course a little bit, but this story was, so I come home from the gym around like 7:30 because I went early, and I'm going to like feed Bubba, right, take him out, went to the dog food bag, and I went to go reach down, and a freaking roach pops up, hits me in the hand, and I freaking scream, and I'm throwing the bag.
Can you reenact the scream?
No, I don't want to hurt anyone's ears, but I know Malin came running out. What's wrong? And I grab in the bag of the food, and I'm running. I run outside, right? And I throw it on my tailgate, and I start throwing haymakers to the back of my truck.
Get off!
While I'm doing this, my neighbor's opening her door to walk outside to like leave or something, and I'm like sitting there just bam, bam, and she's just like. All I heard was the door close back. I was like,
bro, you probably thought you were all freaking fucked up on some meth or something.
Like,
honey,
what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like,
honey, what's that man doing over there? He's in a boxing match roaches, with a dog food bag.
I don't like them. I never knew I never had roaches before when I was up in New York living there. But moving down to Florida, moving down to Miami particularly, oh man, these things fucking fly. And I thought I was going to have to throw out a whole bag of dog food because I was not going to reach in and grab that thing. So that was my funny moment of the day.
Yeah, you got in a full blown fight with dog food. Congratulations. Did you?
Good job.
Yeah, but did you win? Is the question. Did you?
No,
win?
The motherfucker. I walk around the back of my truck, right, and I go to look in the bag, and the motherfucker just goes like this. He just peeks out. He's like, "You didn't get me, bitch." And that freaked me out. So I ran around the truck again and ran in the house. So I was like, "Bubba, you can't eat today." So, but he finally got out of there, and we got the food in the house. But that was my funny story of the day. I thought I was dying about it. I was like, "What the fuck am I doing right now?" I'm throwing haymaker. Call me Floyd Mayweather on my bed of my truck.
Stick and move.
But speaking about haymakers, Jay, how was your bets or your locks of the week last week?
I mean, I gave some bonus locks. My lock, Arsenal did come through. And Man City won, unfortunately, for my boys. By the way, bro, why aren't you wearing a hat? I'm wearing a hat, and you're not wearing a hat tonight. What's up with that, first of all?
I got a fresh cut.
I knew you were showing off the fresh cut.
Shout out to Nate Ortega.
So technically, I won 2, and I said Liverpool would win, and they draw. So that counts as a loss. So 2-1. Kind of pissed off with the Liverpool match. We were playing at Chelsea. Thought that we should have had a penalty in that match, even though Chelsea played the better. Chelsea was the better of the two teams that day, but we should have won the match because a penalty should have been given to us. No doubt they would have put the ball in the back of the old onion bag and Liverpool would have come out with a 2-1 win. However, 2-1, not so bad. My absolute lock was the lock. And that was kind of easy to call, right? Because Arsenal and Man City, pretty easy. But tell you what here, I'm going on a limb this week with my lock of the week. Put a lock on it. So here we go. Man City just added another trophy to their magical year. They just beat Sevilla in the Super Cup today on penalties. So that makes 4 trophies for the year so far. They won the treble and they add the Super Cup. But the team to look out for this year is Newcastle. Their manager, Unai Emery, has been known to be a giant killer. And they now have Saudi backing them. And with that Saudi money, they're going to make some big signings because they made the Champions League for the first time in 20 years. They're the most convincing team so far this year with a 5-0 victory over Aston Villa last week. They're about to march into the Etihad Stadium in Manchester to take on Manchester City. And I have a funny feeling at plus 300 with Man City playing midweek. And normally Man City doesn't really come out of the gates hot. They're the kind of team that could drop a game here and there. And they finish the season on fire. So I think they're going to mess up this weekend. A little bit tired from the midweek game against Sevilla. It went the extra mile because they got all the way to penalties. I have a feeling Newcastle with the early season upset over Man City. I'm calling a 3-1 Newcastle win in Man City on the road at plus 300, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a tough one for me to say that's my lock of the week, but we going for it, baby. Lock of the week, Newcastle over Man City.
So that's Grandpa Jay's locks of the week, or lock of the week, actually. Jay, how did you do last week, though? Like, did you win all yours or no? You won 2 of them.
Man City won, and Liverpool drew. So technically, because I said Liverpool would win, 2-1. Yeah. But the lock was Arsenal, and that one.
Okay. Well, everyone, make sure you tune into the socials. We'll put that up throughout the next couple of days. And lock it in. Let us know if you win. And, of course, like we always say, if you win, buy us a studio. Jim Harbaugh prevails the NCAA and nullifies his 4-game suspension to start the season. That's right. I mean, the games didn't really matter anyways. We were playing no ones. But, I mean, ultimately, we get our coach back for 4 games. And what a bullshit freaking suspension it was. We had him suspended because of a violation that the NCAA wouldn't release. Why can't you release what he did, ultimately? It's really bullshit. It's annoying that the NCAA keeps coming at these coaches. First, I heard it was because of a cheeseburger that he bought a student that he was recruiting. And if that's the case, what's the big deal if he buys him a cheeseburger? I don't really understand the correlation. If he bought him a Benz, okay, I can see that. But he bought him a freaking meal. Like, give me a break, NCAA, and stop with all these, like, trying to find things for coaches and everything. I know there's bad coaches out there that do shit, but leave it alone. It's ridiculous, and it's really getting annoying as a fan base. Hats off to my boy Jimmy Harbaugh up there in Michigan. Let's go blue. We got 3 weeks till the season. Let's go. And as I was mentioning in my rant about college football, I think, one of the biggest things that we always grew up watching was different movies and everything, sports movies and whatnot. But I think one of the things I really want to know from you guys is, what is your favorite football movie or the best football movie ever? What are your thoughts? Grandpa Jay, let me hear yours. I'm interested to hear that.
Man, always putting me on the spot, bro. So
I gotta throw it back to you. We're gonna just go back and forth with each other.
I know Mike's gonna choose Rudy, and I had a friend a long time ago that really got me into Rudy, and I love this storyline, and it used to fire me up. And I thought, this is a great movie, right? And then as the years went along, I was like, man, they just have a lot of great football movies that come out any given Sunday. Came out when I was in high school. That fired me up. And then Varsity Blues came out, and that was more like a comical movie, but such a great storyline to understand how serious high school football is in Texas. And there's so many to choose from. You got The Longest Yard. Remember the Titans touched my heart. But for me personally, with the storyline, and even when I watch it now, I get kind of fired up, and then my emotions are all over the place. I just love Friday Night Lights. I don't know why I love that movie so much, but I'm a big fan of Friday Night Lights. You got Derek Luke playing Bowie Miles, and it was the actual story of Bowie Miles and his team from Permian, Texas. You got Billy Bob Thornton, who was playing Coach Gary Sanders. You got Tim McGraw, country star, and Garrett Hedman, who played his son. They were the Billingsleys in that movie. And there was just something about that movie. Definitely the speech in the championship game when they were playing that giant monster of a team from Dallas. And he pulls them in halftime and he tells them about what being perfect really is. I have goosebumps thinking about it now. When he says to them, perfect is not winning the game. Perfect is being able to look at your teammates in the eye and know that you left it all on the field for your teammates. So for the rest of your life, you could look at your teammate and say, I was perfect tonight. And that's what perfect meant to him. That gives me chills right now. And Preacher Man, in the middle of the whole thing, the coaches are like talking about, we need to tackle and we need to do this. And Preacher Man comes out and he's like, what's going on with you guys? What's wrong with y'all? They do 2 days. We do 2 days. Y'all acting like y'all can't play football. We know how to play football. We can take this team out. He was so fired up. I popped my chest. I'm like, get a Preacher Man. Get a Preacher. Man, that got me so fired up, man. I love that moment in the movie. Like, and that game, the guys are flying all over the field. One of my favorites of all time movies, period. This was such a hard topic for me because it was either Friday Night Lights, Remember the Titans, or Any Given Sunday. And I say, you know what? Friday Night Lights is the one that gets me. So that's my favorite of all time.
And this is why Jamie doesn't get his deposit back after the apartment, because he just runs through all the walls. No, that's a great movie. I mean, I when I was playing high school football, I think I watched that every game, that or Miracle. So that's a great movie. I love that movie because it resonated. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see us, because like in high school, our team was like, our class was undefeated all the way until our senior year. So like we were kind of like them boys, like they were all together from like modified football all the way up. So we were all like going for gold in a sense. And you know, that movie always just like resonated with me so crisply.
Another thing, the soundtrack, like the infamous guitar song that comes on, that's like, you know, the song that's kind of prodding them on to try and score that game-winning touchdown. That's a band out of Texas called Explosions in the Sky, which I learned from that movie, which really became a band that I really enjoyed listening to afterwards. So that movie also introduced me to some music that I got to enjoy for years on afterwards. There, a band of 3 guitar players. So thank you, Friday Night Lights, for entertaining me and introducing me to one of the best bands that I enjoyed listening to for many years.
Write that band name down. That sounds awesome.
Explosions in the Sky.
What a name.
I know, right?
That's sweet. Okay, I'm going to
Trey,
check that out.
I'm interested. You said last week, you kept saying, man, I hate this topic. It's either I hate the movie or I love the movie. There's no in between for me. What have you decided that you actually love when it comes to football movies?
Well, there's definitely no in between for me. I mean, so I can tell you right now, not really a fan of Rudy. I know that's a lot of people love that movie. That movie bored the hell out of me. And it just always did. Didn't do anything for me. Also, Blindside, hated that movie. Michael Orr Ben said that was basically not the story. And I've always hated the fact that it just felt like, oh, we're going to make this guy like some blubbering idiot so we can try to sell this movie. And the guy's like, no, I've been playing football all my life. Don't make me sound like some idiot who some small little woman taught me how to play football. There's nothing against women teaching how to play football. My mom taught me how to play football. But that actually was a real story. Yep. I always love a story that is closer to a real story when it comes to these sort of things. So, I mean, one of my favorites, and I'm not going to use it for this, would have been Varsity Blues. The only reason I'm not using it is because it is, I wanted to use something that was based on fact. Varsity Blues, actually, ironically, is very close, similarly, and I mean dead ass, seriously, close, dead ass to my high school like story. Like everything in high school, almost everything that happened in that movie actually happened in my high school football career. Other notable ones, The Program, very underrated. It breaks down college football like no other movie ever does. A lot of people never saw that. Little Giants, that was a childhood favorite. So I'm kind of split here because I was ended up being down to 2. One of which would have been Any Given Sunday, because why not? It's Love and Willie Beeman. But I'm going to go ahead and go with my original thought, even though I almost made it audible here, which is actually Friday Night Lights is the best movie of all time. And I'm not saying my favorite, not just my favorite, it is the best movie. And I'm willing to debate why it's the best movie of all time. Why is Friday Night Lights the best movie? A, it's a real story. B, it created a TV show that got 5 seasons. C, it was a best-selling book. Friday Night Lights had everything. You had the story of Booby. As Booby is, you want to win the game? Put Booby in, coach. what does Uncle say? And he can pass. As his uncle yelling from the crowd. Boobie Miles alone is this worth the price of admission. That's not to mention Mike Winchell and all the other stories. Billy Bob Thornton is acting his ass off. The Dallas Carter team is great. Dallas Carter actually has his movie based on it that came out after Friday Night Lights because of that.
Yeah,
which is actually interesting. Dallas Carter had a lot of pro players such as Jesse Armstead, who started for Mike's Giants for years, actually was on that Dallas Carter team. Dallas Carter, it was a sweet team. So the story's sweet. The ending is amazing. It's everything about that story was just great to watch it. Even from like a learning experience. One of the things for me that Friday Night Lights did, it actually made me want to go to class. Why did it make me want to go to class? Because all our asses thought we was about to be Boobie Miles. And I remember we were sitting there as a team. I'm in high school when it comes out. And we're sitting there as a team. And when we saw Boobie's knee go out, all of us were like, oh, shit, what just happened to us? At least some of us did. You know, I felt like that. So I'm like, man, I need to get, to class. So I've read the book. I watched the whole series. I watched the film on the DVD after, so you can actually see like some of the other stuff. Like Boobie Miles is actually 35. He's a fullback. He's still a primary character or primary carrier. I watched that. I read interviews with Boobie and his daughters and how it influenced his relationship as a parent, trying to keep his kids on the right track because he didn't want his kids to be like him. That emotional scene when Boobie figures out he can't play and he's crying in his uncle's arms. Like that is like gut wrenching.
He gets in the car, bro.
Oh yeah, because you can feel that. You can feel that.
You feel.
I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing.
So it's for me it's got to be Friday Night Lights when it's all said and done. But I'm gonna see. Are we gonna go with Rudy, Mike, or what are we doing here?
Okay, so one would think based on jersey and what everybody in the hat I've worn before and all that I would go with Rudy.
I know what movie he's going with.
Forrest Gump.
Of course you know what movie I'm going with.
You're going Forrest Gump.
Because, no, it's not.
It's a great football movie.
It is. I mean, the football part of it is fantastic. I mean, it's a good movie, and the football part of it's good. No. John,
he had 100 return yards. 100.
Yes, he did. And was so fast and had so much momentum, he had to have an entire stadium tell him to stop.
Yes.
And he didn't.
And he did.
He did sometimes.
All right, Mike, sorry.
There you go. No, so I had a feeling that John would be able to decipher what movie I was going to pick because if you know anything about me, you know what other movie has a special place in my heart. And that is why my best football movie ever is The Express, the Ernie Davis story, because Ernie Davis is from my hometown.
Makes sense.
And went to
his high school,
Syracuse University. Yes, and actually did go to the high school. Actually went to the exact same building my grandpa went to high school in. And so for those of you that remember my talk about growing up with stories of Mickey Mantle, it's the same thing except for from legitimately everyone I know that personally, like I'd met people that personally met him and like told me about him. So, Elmira, New York legend where I grew up. And the movie's and all that aside, the movie's fantastic. Now, suppose some of his former teammates do say, similar to The Blind Side, they took some liberties with the story. His best friend in that movie is kind of amalgamation of two of his teammates, two of his good friends. But, you can only have so many characters in the movie. Right, it's Disney. So, but no, just the ups and downs and the adversity that they show Ernie had to go through, always being haunted by that story of Aveda Stone, the guy that left the university and you're not going to make it. And he gets Jim Brown's number. Jim Brown. And the coolest thing to me about the movie is the true story that Jim Brown came to Elmira to help Schwartzwalder recruit him. And then he went and helped Schwartzwalder recruit Floyd Little and actually had Floyd Little flip from Notre Dame, Syracuse. Yeah. Also, Floyd Little being played by Chadwick Boseman.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. So, just because, mainly because, and call it biased or what have you, but because of just the hometown connection. That's always the football movie that's always going to mean the most and will always be the best to me.
The Elmira Express.
The Elmira Express. They literally named the new athletic department after him.
I was at the game where they retired his number and his stat. Well, the number's always retired, but retired his name in the rafters
with his name with it. Yeah,
and it built his statue was against Penn State, and Syracuse was closed for maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes of the game. Kickoff, I can remember it clear as day. Kickoff return. Penn State fumbles it. And Syracuse gets the ball on the snap, fumbles. Penn State goes down for a 65-yard touchdown. And then it was like touchdown after that. So, yes, the Elmira Express, that was a great movie. I mean, I loved it. But you know what always confused me is how you never became a Syracuse football fan. And, like, that correlation never came together because you're always someone of tradition of that and how you never became a Syracuse football fan. Because I know you said before, like, you had no ties to the university, but you kind of did in that. So that's interesting in my mind why you never became a Syracuse fan. Because you're someone of tradition.
You did it. You did it.
He grew up in Syracuse.
What do you mean? Yes,
exactly.
I did. I'm a Syracuse fan.
I see a Michigan.
No, you're not.
Wow.
No, you're not.
Come on, you guys know I bleed orange and I bleed blue.
You don't bleed. You don't bleed orange as much as you bleed blue on the football field.
I know. Blues in the back.
I mean, I had season ticket. My grandfather and I went to all the games when I was growing up. He had season tickets. I went to the game. I was a Syracuse fan by nature, but obviously I'm a Michigan fan. I got two teams, just like Trey does. You got USC.
Yeah, but I picked
y'all
the side.
2-team mud truckers. Y'all
no, because I picked the side. I picked the side when it's all said and done.
I do think, by the way, I have an answer for that. I think I have a reason. It's that I honestly I think so because I was a little kid when I really picked all my teams. I think it's because my family, like I grew up Catholic. My family was like hardcore Catholic, going to church every Sunday, all that. So Notre Dame is like the Catholic school, let alone the Catholic football school. And so when I was little, it was just like, okay, Notre Dame's on. My grandpa likes Notre Dame. My dad likes Notre Dame. Okay. So I just became we didn't watch Syracuse games, we watched Notre Dame games. Yeah. Okay, but I understand where the confusion comes from because you would think I'm only like 3 hours from Syracuse growing up and Ernie, you would think that's an easy connection to make. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's kind of how that whole thing happened. But yeah, I mean, Ernie's huge for the town.
Hey, can we all three try and guess John's movie before he says what it is?
Remember the Titans.
I'm gonna take We Are Marshall.
If not, the backup will be that Philadelphia movie with the receiver Mark
Invincible.
Vince Papale.
But I'm just gonna go Remember the Titans ultimately.
I mean, Invincible's a good choice. He could go, being Syracuse, he could have also gone with the Express. And we could be completely split here where we have 2 Friday Night Lights and 2 Expresses. Why do I feel like it's an out there one? No, you know what? I think it's Any Given Sunday.
Okay. John, survey says?
Well, I've never seen Any Given Sunday. So
Oh, really?
So I've never seen
Okay, you have to watch Any Given Sunday this weekend.
I'll probably watch it tonight, to be honest with you. I'm done because I've heard of it. It's just I've never gotten a chance to see it. Like in the sense of anytime it's been on, I never really had a chance where like Remember the Titans is always on. So you guys might be right. I mean, it might be Invincible. It might be Invincible. I mean, Vince Papale, but it never really set with me. I'm an Eagles fan, but it was like, okay, he's a great guy for the town, stuff like that. I like Mark Wahlberg as an actor. It was a great story. You would think The Express. You would think Remember the Titans because of all the quotes I say there. Strong side.
Yeah.
But the best movie that I think not hit home, but like ultimately, got the message of like the underdog feeling and being mistreated always, mostly because they did it to themselves, was Gridiron Gang.
Ah, okay.
With The Rock.
That's different.
And the reason being is because the message that it plays. I mean, it's obviously, it's I believe based on a true story. If it's, I believe so. But just the message that it sends. Realistically, those kids put themselves in there, but it gave them a second chance. And in the movie, The Rock continues to hone in there. You're never going to get a second chance, so make your chance worth it. And that just always sit with me because, as you know, I was never in that situation, but I was always like the underdog player in all my teams, right? So I had to make my chance in tryouts and on the team. So anytime I watched that movie, it kind of resonated with me in more of the message and the philosophy behind the movie. And obviously The Rock's one of my favorite actors. So with him, that movie is great. Number 2 would have to be Remember the Titans, because I love that movie. I've watched that 1,000 times. But yeah, I mean that movie really resonated with me as a kid. Gridiron Gang. I think that was really an awesome movie. You guys have seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's a great story, a great opportunity that a lot of kids aren't given in that situation. They're just thrown away, which I think should be an opportunity. Like a kid, just wants to be loved, just wants to be cared for in this situation, and that showed it that like someone was willing to give them a chance. But like the one dude like got kicked off the team and then comes back on the team and like a better way in the sense of like feels bad about leaving the team and everything. It's just a great storyline, and I think it's just portrayed really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in reference to the timeline we're at now, in 2017, Coach Gaines from the Birmingham high school team was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2017, and he actually passed away on August 22nd, 2022. So if we had done this next week, it would have been almost the day that he passed away.
Wow.
1 year later. Yeah. Man, oh man. Just when you thought things were going to go right down here in Tampa Bay this year, the Rays had a magical start to the season. And boy, does it feel like that magic has left the air down here in Tampa Bay. We are dealing with the headline so far of the year in the MLB with the Wander Franco case. Not wonderful at all here. And boy, has that guy put himself in some hot doo-doo. I just don't know what's going to happen with him. His career might be over at this point, and rightfully so. If it's true, I know we still have to wait for the facts. But shame on you, Wanda. You know better. Whether you're 21 or 22, it doesn't matter. You know it was wrong. And shame on Tampa's management, because an inside source told me that they knew about this and this was ongoing. So down goes McClanahan. We lose our ace. Now we lose possibly the best player that we've had in years on the team. And I don't know where this season is heading, but at this point, I don't even care at this point, man. It's just like, how could things start off so well and things end up where they are right now? I just don't know.
But as we've been right in this section, we were wrong at some point in our life. So, fellas, what players in any sport were you wrong about that you were like, damn, this player is going to tear it up in the league, no matter what sport? Mike, go ahead. Take us away.
Okay. See, here's where we get to Notre Dame. I swore up and down on everyone's graves that Brady Quinn was going to be good.
I knew that was
Brady freaking Quinn reference on this damn show.
Knew that.
God damn Brady Quinn.
I know. Listen, maybe again, call it bias. Maybe it was just I really wanted to will him to be good.
Oh my God, bro.
Okay, that LSU team was really good. Brady Quinn had a phenomenal season that year.
Brady Quinn was overrated in college, and he got lucky a lot. We talk about Johnny Manziel getting lucky. We're lucky he had Samardzija. He had guys like that making unbelievable.
Samardzija crazy that year.
Okay, Samardzija was crazy.
Samardzija should have went to play football. He said it.
Yeah,
he was a beast, man. He made some catches. Yeah, I remember because my mom's a Notre Dame fan, so we were watching those games. I'm like, Brady Quinn's just not that good. He holds on to the ball too long. He's like, I just never saw it from him. I don't know what you saw from him. Maybe because he was tall. I don't know.
Well, I think part of it is that at the time, especially at the time, he was the prototypical build for a quarterback and style. Like, we weren't into the, everybody's running type thing. I was also a Notre Dame fan, man. So I just like,
you thought
like,
Brady,
no.
Brady Quinn. Okay. He's going to go in.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's got half of it. He's got half his name. He'll be half as good. And even if he's half as good, that means he's probably an all-pro.
Well, let me tell you what you left out with Quinn. You remember Dr. Quinn, the medicine woman? He didn't take his medicine to turn into a damn good player. That's the problem.
It's a good reference there, Jamie. Also, not disproving that you are the oldest one of the four of us. Because Dr. Quinn, medicine woman, ended in like the 80s.
Early 90s. I was over 10 years old.
Okay, I was born in 95. I was born in 95. Either way.
I can't believe he just said Brady Quinn. You really thought? Did you think he was going to be a long or just a guy that could just last year? I gotta know. Like this is interesting to me.
Well, also keep in mind the innocent eyes with which I saw Brady Quinn. I was 11. Not even. I was 10 when he got drafted. I turned 11 that November. So I was, as a kid, like. He was my guy, and I'm not saying I thought he was going to be like a Hall of Famer, but I didn't think he was going to be as bad as he was. I thought he was going to be like a serviceable quarterback. Granted, he was a Browns quarterback to begin with, so that also doesn't help.
Yeah. As a Steelers fan, I was just so excited on that draft day when they took Brady Quinn. I said, "Oh, I know we got this in the bag with the Browns for the next 5 years." I do.
Did he got drafted?
Yeah,
did he even start that year?
Yeah, he started.
Okay, I'm about to say I thought he started halfway through the season, but not the season. He didn't start. I thought he came in.
So his rookie year, he only appeared in one game. He didn't start.
Yeah,
the next year he started starting for 3 games, and then for 9 out of 10 games, and then.
Damn! Way to get it out. Stopping off with the fireworks, Mike.
Great. Hey, the Kansas City pre-Patrick Mahomes thought he was good because in 2012, 3 years after he had appeared in an NFL game, they let him start 8 games.
You just compared Patrick Mahomes and Brady Quinn?
No. I'm saying this is the Kansas City Chiefs before they got Mahomes.
Oh.
So as far as like their evaluation of a quarterback, at the time they thought Brady Quinn might be able to be serviceable.
I mean, granted, he did. I mean, it's all about the situation you get drafted to. It's just Brady Quinn just didn't have the football sense, in my opinion. He just he was always holding on the ball too long. And I can hear my mom screaming in our ears, being like, "Throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball!" Like I can always remember that because it's so true that he would just hold on to the ball. We're all sitting there like, "Damn, this dude's just gonna get sacked," and then Samardzija makes some like one-handed catch. Like, they were talking about Odell. Samardzija was making some crazy-ass catches in that year. Like, I think he made one on USC where, like, he got, windmilled in the air, and he, like, held onto it. I was like, damn, this dude's going to be a cold receiver. But then he went to the Cubbies and pitched in the
pitched for the
Giants. He's world champion with the Giants.
Yeah, he's a world champion. So,
yeah, I mean, I think in the end, Brady Quinn turned out to be one of those guys that knows way more about football than he was good at it in the end. Let's see. Well, I usually pick whoever gives me the most grief, but you all gave it to me this time. So, Trey, you go ahead.
Okay, so this was kind of hard. I went back and forth. Did I want to do a basketball player? I want to do a football player. I almost did the basketball one, but I'll save that thought for later after everybody else goes in the basketball thought of what I was going to do. What I did was actually take a different angle on this. I know we're supposed to pick our most disappointing player, and I know in a minute you guys will probably be like, no, you're cheating. But you understand why. Because what happened is I was thinking about something. I said, you know what? I had to go back to a certain time in my life. A certain time, around the time Brady Quinn played. It's not A.J. Hawk because it almost was him, but it's not A.J. Hawk.
His brother-in-law.
His brother-in-law. Almost was him, so I laughed in my head you said that. But around the same time, when Brady Quinn was playing, I had to go back to first a certain guy, but then I thought about the whole situation and said, no, this is bigger than this man. So there's a certain guy, he played out in...
Okay.
And along with him was 2 Heisman Trophy winners, 1 BCS championship, 1 runner-up, a 2-time AP champ. 11 people were drafted on this roster. They had combined 0 Pro Bowls, only 1 All-Pro from the guy specifically that was a punt returner when he got his All-Pro, and they only won 1 Super Bowl with all 11 guys drafted. And that would be the 2005 USC Trojans, because as an overall program, they should all be disappointed. I can't believe you've had Matt Leinart go get a Heisman. He didn't turn out to be a goddamn thing. Reggie Bush was a Heisman. He didn't turn out to be a goddamn thing. Lendale White was basically All-American. He didn't turn out to be shit. Frosty Rucker was a high draft pick. The Eagles had what was the I'm blanking on the guy's name right now. The Eagles had Winston Justice. He was a second-round draft pick at tackle. He turned out to be a bust. Darnell Bing was a starting safety. He got drafted. He was a bust. Everybody fucking sucked that came out of there. So they collectively as a unit, I got to serve up, because how do you as a team that basically went to 3 championships, they won the AP championship twice, the BCS championship once, was runner-up and lost in the fourth quarter to Vince Young. But it's almost as if when Reggie Bush in the fourth quarter, if everybody remembers, he has to play, he's running down the field, and he throws that bitch backwards. It's like he threw all their careers back when he threw that ball backwards. Because all they asked is ended up flaming down the league. I can't believe this. Every time I see Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush with Reggie or they're on TV, I'm like, I just can't believe you dudes all are on TV at like 30. Because none of y'all made it in the NFL. Like, you couldn't tell me when Reggie Bush is going behind the back, he's doing the video game moves, that dude wasn't supposed to be the shit. I remember Mel Kiper being on there saying, if he was drafted, he was number 85 and he was a receiver, he'd be number 1 pick. That dude sucked at running back in the league. I mean, average at best. He was an okay returner, got the 1 All-Pro, but he was always hurt. Matt Leinart, that dude could barely get on the field. Linda White had an okay season once. Like, I remember Dominique Byrd being a tight end and people being like, look at this guy. He can block. He can catch. That dude got like 5 catches in his career. Like, I just can't believe that 2005 USC team, which was one of my favorite teams. I stayed up every week, 10:30 Eastern, staying up at 10:30 just to start the game, staying up until 2 when I was watching them, just to watch these guys all get to the pros and flame out. I just knew they had at least 3 or 4 Hall of Famers on that team. They couldn't even get a motherfucker to the Pro Bowl. They had literally 0 Pro Bowls of 11 people drafted.
That team is the definition of when they talk about how, like, oh, the worst NFL team could play Bama. That's how hard it is to make it in the NFL.
Clearly.
Those type of players who had the best season and was in the best time couldn't even get to the next level. Like, that's how small of a percentage it is of really good athletes and really good players in the NFL, and how hard it is. Really does take to play in the NFL, because that when I thought about Reggie Bush, I thought, okay, he's gonna be the next Emmitt Smith, he's gonna be the next Barry Sanders, he's gonna just take the league by storm. I thought Matt Leinart was gonna be the lefty, one of the first lefties to win a Super Bowl. I thought he was just gonna just dominate. And I was like, okay, so this is gonna be, we're going to see Hall of Famers right here. Right. And now I'm seeing Reggie Bush. Now he's trying to play
commercial.
Well, no, now he's trying to play pro golf. He's actually he's a scratch golfer. He's like really good at golf. And he's sponsored by Strixon. So now it's like, damn, like, I wish I could see him. I mean, his most infamous highlight in the NFL was by my Birds. I think it was Vincent that lit his ass up in the playoffs. You remember that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
Oh my God. It in the Superdome at the time, throws it back. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that was cool. I mean, that whole team deserves to be on that list. I agree.
Yeah, I wanted to put 1, but y'all understand why I needed it as a unit.
That's not cheating.
That's one was like everybody here.
That's factual. That's factual.
Yeah, you start going 1 by 1. It's like, damn.
Yeah. I just took a quick look at the roster. The 2 most successful NFL players they had on the roster that year were freshmen that didn't play, and that was Clay Matthews and Brian Cushing.
Yeah, they were stacked behind them dudes, and some of them dudes ended up becoming good. But yeah, the starters, like you said, didn't end up. Even Ray Mataluga's a backup, and he's better than linebackers. They had all of them.
Keith Rivers,
Mataluga, Matthews, all of them were all sitting on the bench waiting to get out there, and it just never popped.
And Vince Young, based on like how much I thought, like, take down the invincible USC Trojans and the fashion that happened, and I'm like, man, this guy's gonna come in and roll on the league, especially after seeing what RG3 did and figured if he could stay healthy. I said no. I'm gonna talk about the one guy I think all of us could unanimously say, like, this guy just freaking sucks. And that is my once boy, Ben Simmons. And let me tell you,
I knew that.
let me tell you how hyped I was on Ben Simmons, okay? When Ben Simmons was a sophomore at Mount Verde High School, I remember telling my roommate at the time, Robbie, big up yourself, GY, if you're watching the show or whenever you're watching the show. I remember telling him, bro, you have to watch this kid's highlight reels. This kid is LeBron-esque. I compared him to LeBron. I said, this kid is LeBron-esque with his court vision, not his ability to dominate the NBA, but with his court vision as a 6'9", 6'10 guy. He can probably average 10 assists a game in the league. And I saw him being that kind of player that can really make everybody else much better around him, but not having that impact LeBron could have, but the vision LeBron had, meaning that he could be one of the best passers in the game. So I was on this guy's jock in his sophomore year. I was on his jock in his freaking junior year. And in his senior year, he gets even better. And I'm like, Robbie, I'm telling you, man, this guy's going to come in. And as we all know, he wins Rookie of the Year after he sits out his first year, beating out Spider-Man, Donovan Mitchell, which is probably the worst vote in NBA history. But in fairness to Ben Simmons at the time, he was third in triple doubles, I think, that season to LeBron and probably Westbrook. And he also had Oscar Robertson-like numbers. I think he was only the second rookie to have over 8 assists and 8 rebounds in his rookie year, even though it was his second year. I don't know if you remember Donovan Mitchell wore that hoodie that said rookie and defined what a rookie really was. So there was like a big controversy around him. But I'm like, great freaking rookie year. The Sixers win over 50 games for the first time in like 16 years. They're in the playoffs for the first time. Him and Embiid are going to mesh. This is what the Sixers needed. 76ers basketball is back. This kid's going to be the guy people are talking about. Can Philadelphia hold on to him? He's going to get into some squad and be a big three somewhere. This guy's the real deal. And we all know how that literally just came. The wheels didn't just fall off, gentlemen. The wheels were stolen. Concrete cylinder blocks were put on that car. Somebody stole those concrete cylinder blocks. Then tried to hoist that up with some Fred Flintstone stones. Somebody stole them shits. Was turning, and ain't nothing going on for this guy. First of all, his net worth is $8 million. His net worth should be $100 million if he lived up to the hype right now. He's played like 315 games of possibly 515 games because it's his 7th, going on to his 8th year. And here's the big talk right now. Ben Simmons spends quality time with Jack Vaughn over the summer. And look at Ben Simmons' body because he's been working out this summer. Way to finally freaking do what you're supposed to do as a pro player. I mean, what a bust from his rookie sensational year to now. What an absolute bust. And boy, did I hype this kid.
And that was the biggest thing, right? Like his rookie season, we were like, oh shit. We all were like, okay, he's starting to live up to the hype. Okay, let's see what he does next season. Let's see if he can get his points higher. Let's see if he can, start to really. But I feel like all that went to his head. I feel like he needed to lose that rookie of the year, because if he would have lost that rookie of the year, he probably would have been like, damn, I deserve that. Let me dig down deep and go win like MVP next year, that type of thing. So,
hey, can y'all join me and hold up a 0 for the total number of 3-point field goals made in Ben Simmons' history as a pro player?
Really?
0.
Yeah, no, he's never made one.
He never
made a 3 in his career.
Well,
that's what he's most infamous for. He's most infamous for never making a that's his reputation. Is never freaking hitting a free throw.
That's what else has hurt him is after his rookie year, everybody in the league was like, oh, he just can't shoot threes. Fine. Mm-hmm. When he comes down the court, drop back and just guard the lane.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he's got to start either trying to take a 3 or trying to hit a mid-range.
For his sake, in a sense, the game was starting to go to that level where those type of guys were starting to develop the shot and start shooting. So ultimately, it's kind of a pity on him that he wasn't the leader on that, because he was such hype, like such the Australian coming over from Australia to Monteverde to LSU. He's going to dominate the league, and it's just like he just never wanted to work, and it just didn't make any sense to me. Like, Trey and I have this conversation all the time that I think players ultimately don't like their sport. They just play it because they're good. I mean, it's realistic, right? So if you're going to
get his 3 colors at LSU, because he was very convincing at LSU. I was like, I don't think he
get them to the tourney. at LSU. That's
well, he helped them get to the tournament. But here's the thing, right? Like, so it's not about.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't get to the tournament.
Not make the tournament.
Well, what I'm trying to say is he may have still liked basketball at that time, but going to the next level as a professional athlete. I just mentioned this like 2 minutes ago. I don't think he
liked it back then, though. I just don't.
2 minutes ago, I just mentioned it 2 minutes ago that we're talking about that this is like the best of the best. And I just watched this documentary on the G League, and they got some good players in the G League right now, like really good players that can drop 30 a game in the G League and still can't make an NBA roster. So with the NBA, if you just have height and you have some sort of power and some sort of athleticism, they're gonna be like, all right, yeah, you're basketball. And I don't think he liked basketball. Just like some guys, I don't think like football. And some people are gonna look at me crazy with that, but I just don't think people like their sports. But if someone said, hey, here's $20 million a year to go play this sport, you'd be fucking stupid not to go do that, right?
Well, so it's plenty of dudes like that. That's the hard
there's
thing.
a lot of guys that come out now. Like,
you can't judge that, and there's plenty of guys that are like that where you can't judge if they're in that mode. So as a side note, since we're here, there was one other person I almost used, but this actually pertains to Ben Simmons. So it's actually a perfect quick segue before John goes. The other angle I almost took on this was not, and this guy didn't have the worst career, this guy I'm going to mention, but it's similar to Ben Simmons, where I just don't think this guy loves the game. Now, he has had an okay career, but the guy I'm referring to, who I thought was lazy, is Darren Williams, because there's a point, and I will admittedly say I am ashamed of myself. Remember the debate used to be Darren Williams and Chris Paul? I was on the Darren Williams side of that debate.
What?
Hard for me when he first was coming out, because the guy was big. He could throw them hips on you. Chris was small. Darren could shoot a little bit. He played with a 3-guard system in college where you're like, okay, this guy can play with a different style, like a different style if needed. Remember, in the 3-guard lineup, he was playing sometimes small forwards because he was big. So I'm like, oh, they made a switch. They made do this with him. And I thought Chris was going to be bad. I just, at the time, thought Darren Williams, I thought they both were going to go to Hall of Fame, and I thought Darren Williams was going to be the guy. But once he got to the league and I started looking at him, I'm like, oh, similar to Ben Simmons, I don't know if this guy loves the game, and I think he's fat and he's lazy. And that's what happened to him. But the same thing with Ben Simmons kind of could be said, too. So that was my other guy who I looked at as disappointment because of, like, look at all this talent. You have to be good. And then you get there and you realize, like, oh, shoot, this motherfucker just saw $20 million. He just cashing the check. He don't really like this shit for real.
And you can't blame him, because ultimately these leagues have now grown to where it's actually ridiculous in a sense, right? Like the contracts are like, we're seeing guys all the time, and everyone keeps saying, I can't believe LeBron's doing this and stuff. And I was one of those people, right? And I'll admit I was wrong in that, because ultimately LeBron's he's doing it for himself, right? He's taking the $60 million a year. But what he's doing is setting up the rest of the players below him, because he knows he's at the top no matter what. I mean, he's still at the top. I mean, he's still the best player in the league. Hands down. There's maybe it's like Patrick Mahomes right now. He's the best player in the league. When you have LeBron in the court, you always have to question whether he's out there. What's that look for?
Jokic is the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, Jokic is the best player.
And I'm a Lakers fan. And I'm a LeBron.
Jokic is the best player in the league.
I'm a LeBron fan.
I disagree, but that's besides the point. Ultimately, when you get to that level, you have to like somehow love the game. You have to try to love the game. And when you're someone that doesn't love the game and you're playing with a bunch of guys, and we're sitting here saying, I can't believe it, because we're 4 guys who would love to play professional sports and be in the league and stuff like that, it's very difficult for us to sit there and say, yeah, but also we're not there, right? We didn't have the talent. We didn't get there. But that guy's there, and he's like, I'd be stupid. Now, I think that's why a lot of people think about like the 90s and 80s and 70s of sports in general, saying, oh, that's the greatest time in sports, because those guys weren't playing for a lot. And probably a lot of those guys were playing for the love of the game, because the check really wasn't there, right? It was there enough for them to be well off, right? But they were never there was only a few players in the price tag that was in this range, right? So like when you think about it, a lot of these guys, that's why we kind of go back to the 90s, because you think those guys loved it. But some of those guys may not have loved it either. But they're just good at that, and that's all they knew, right? And that's all they did. They didn't go to classes. They didn't do shit in college, so they have to do this stuff, and this is all they know from when they were 5. So it's very critical for us to sit there and say, yeah, this sucks. But like, if he doesn't love the game, he doesn't love the game. I can't blame him for going to get that money and then just whatever, bouncing around a couple times and do what he's got to do to get that money and then put it away. I mean, obviously you see him driving all expensive cars and stuff, not putting it away, but I don't know. But back to the Jokic thing. I mean, you guys really think he's the best player in the league right now?
Yeah.
Yes. By far.
Yeah, he's the best player in the league.
And Luka Doncic a close second, and maybe LeBron.
Well, that's who I'm saying pure threat, pure like when you're on the court, you think of Luka, you think of Jokic, but you're still thinking LeBron. You can't say LeBron's not in the tier 1 category still.
Yeah, he's
tier 1.
My top 5.
The top player in the league.
Right.
League right now is Jokic. There can still be more people in one tier.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is that LeBron is ultimately he's still got that factor in your head that like, damn, I'm playing LeBron tonight. In that aspect. So it goes back to that type of mentality that I don't think Ben Simmons was ready for.
Hey, John, do we have a possible mention of Wesley Johnson tonight?
Who?
Wesley Johnson.
That's the guy.
Other known as Weasley Johnson.
No, I watched that guy play. I knew he wasn't going to be a good NBA guy.
So
but I understood why he left. I mean, everyone think I would go all Syracuse on this. Like, I watched these guys play for 30 games a season, so I know who's ready to go to the league and not.
Jason Hart's the biggest bust. I remember watching him play with Vince Carter and thought he was better than Vince sometimes. So I was like, damn, that guy was a bust.
My biggest you look at me crazy for Darren Williams. Darren Williams wasn't an all-star in the
NBA. When did Donovan play ball? Didn't he play a season or two or something too?
You said who?
But Jimmy D. Didn't Donovan and I play ball, and didn't he play? Wasn't he a two-way athlete?
No, just one season.
He did play ball one season.
Donovan played on that team, but yeah, I mean he was. They like Jim Boeheim like always says. Hey, it's always funny because he was coming down the lane and guys was just like literally move because he's like 6'4", 6'5", 250, like coming off a football season, just running down the middle. But my biggest bust in I think it has to be for anybody, honestly, is Vince Young. I mean, that dude was just like, I thought that dude was going to be Hall of Fame ass. Matt Leinart. I thought him and Matt Leinart were the next like duo in the NFL to go back and forth with each other. Like we had Brady and Manning at that point, right? Mm-hmm. That's where I put Vince Young and Matt Leinart at right there. Those two guys, I mean, Vince Young, I was just like, I watched him at national. That's the best national championship game that I've ever seen, next to the Miami Ohio State one that I think went into overtime. Trey?
Yeah.
2001. Maurice Clarett was tore his ACL. He tore his ACL.
No, he didn't tear his ACL.
No, he didn't tear his ACL.
McGay, yeah, that's right.
Bad. That was
bad.
That was bad.
That's one guy that.
Yeah, but they also had about 21 other pros on the roster to carry them, even though he was.
Yeah, his backup literally went pro. I mean,
so Vince Young was like one of the guys I thought, okay, he's gonna put Tennessee back on the map. He's gonna just take the league by storm, and then he just never panned out. You can never get healthy. You can never, adopt the playbook system. And I think it went back to the old school Big 12 running gun type offense that he was running. I mean, he was with Mac Brown, yes, but I also think Mac Brown kind of did what what he did for Johnny Manziel. I mean, what's his face? I forget his name. Guy that coached the Cardinals last year.
Kingsbury.
What he did for Manziel, he's just kind of like, this dude's a freak of nature. I can't really put a playbook to this guy. Let me just let him do, because that's how he played. He was just running around the field, and I don't think we actually really looked at his like mechanics and everything like that. He would always drop the ball. They talk about Tebow dropping the ball, but you go watch Vince Young. His when he would throw the ball, he'd drop it, and it would just be a slow reaction, or he would just be bigger than everyone else and run him over. So. Vince Young
put this on Jeff Fisher though with Vince Young. I put a lot on Jeff Fisher because I don't think Jeff Fisher really.
I'm sure Jeff Fisher did not.
Well, yeah. Ultimately, I don't think he went to the right team. When he got drafted, I said that was going to be an iffy situation because I don't think that was the right team for him to be drafted to.
Well, that's why I put on Jeff Fisher though. I mean, he went 8-5 his first year, and Jeff Fisher didn't believe in him. Vince Young went 9-6 his second year. Jeff Fisher didn't believe in him. The last year in Tennessee, he went 8-2. Like Vince Young was actually
was Eddie George still there
No.
In his later years, or Eddie George had left.
No, he was gone by then.
But you can't say Vince Young was amazing in the league though. Like you can't. He was mediocre at best.
I'm not saying it was amazing, but you were saying the mechanics. I think they could have figured it out if he had a coach that believed in him. Vince Young's career record is 31-19 as a starter. It's not like he just was some guy who wasn't figuring it out. I'm not saying he became what we expect. He only went to 2 Pro Bowls. Matt Leinart, on the other hand, couldn't even fucking stay on the field at all. Vince Young was summoned with injuries, but Jeff Fisher's been a quarterback killer all his fucking career. Remember what the Rams looked like when they had Jeff Fisher. He suddenly leaves, the Rams get good. I just feel like Vince Young, unfortunately, everybody we named, Vince Young is the one I almost feel the worst for because I think he would have been good if he was in the right position.
He would have, exactly.
Like I just gave you 3 records,
in a different uniform.
96, 8-2, and the coach still didn't want him. I don't know what else he can do to get there. He won Rookie of the Year, and he did go to 2 Pro Bowls when he went to Titans out of 4 years, and then they didn't want to renew his contract because damn Jeff Fisher wanted to keep not doing it. Remember, after that, Jeff Fisher goes 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. He became 8-8.
Correct.
I think I put him in the category of the fact that, like, he went to a situation that, like, coach didn't really believe in him and everything like that, right? But I also see it as a situation that, you know, he just never became what everybody thought he was. And yes, part of it's on coaching, and I'm a big proponent of that I think certain teams need to draft players by the system. If you don't draft by your system and you just draft whoever, unless it's like a top caliber player, which Vince Young was, it doesn't work. But a quarterback is such a critical position because I think they're coming off of the Steve McNair era, which really confused me in that aspect because I almost thought Steve McNair and Vince Young had similar quarterback styles, just the other way, right? Steve was right-handed.
McNair had a much better arm than him.
Right, yes.
But they also, remember, when they had McNair, too, they were leaning on Eddie George. Remember, the plan, to go back to where we were at earlier, was Lindell White was also drafted there, too. They thought they were going to have Lindell White to hand the ball to, what we talked about earlier.
Right.
And Lindell White ended up also not being as good, so then Vince Young got asked to do more than he was supposed to, partly because of the other disappointing player we talked about earlier in this convo.
Yeah,
if you notice something actually happened here, and, you know, content will be coming soon. The 05 college football season, if you notice, that keeps coming up. All these are actually the same time frame. But don't worry, there'll be a on the block video actually working on that. Y'all see it soon about the 05 season, which came up multiple times today. In college football.
Big shout out to my honorable mention, Mr. Jameis.
I thought he was gonna be good too. I was wrong on that one too.
I knew he wasn't gonna be good when he stole lobster. After he was getting it for free.
It was crabs.
It was crabs.
See, he was getting it for free.
No, he was not. That is illegal, John. He played in college football. You know they can't give these kids a meal. He's supposed to starve.
And give him free crabs.
Yeah.
Put out to the ocean and catch some free crabs. A fishing pole.
What is the NCAA? I forgot. What is that? Is that like something of the past, right?
A bunch of punkics.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought that Vince Young ultimately was going to be that whole 05 team, like that whole 05 Texas team and the 05 USC team. I thought they were going to have like depth in the pros for years to come, and it just never panned out. And unfortunately, like that's why I put him on that train because we all thought. I mean, my honorable mention is, and we can all agree about this, Jamarcus Russell.
I
didn't think he would be great, but the season he came off with LSU and won the Natty title, I was like, damn, like this dude's
he was never pro material to me. I knew he wasn't.
He always looked like a defensive lineman. He always reminded me of that Jared Lorenzen guy. When I saw him, and I was like,
my boy,
hefty lefty.
Yeah, I was like a Kentucky guy. When I saw that body, I was like,
Kentucky's the only school because no one cares about football in Kentucky.
Actually, Commonwealth used to pack it out even back then. Commonwealth, because remember, Tim Couch was coming off a Heisman Trophy year a couple of years earlier than that, like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Didn't he beat out Manning? Didn't he beat out Manning? No.
Couch was a different draft. He's next year.
He was the Brown
first pick.
T. Martin. Who won? T. Martin won the year after.
Man in the championship.
T. Martin won the championship game.
That's right.
Yeah, no, Tim Couch was the Browns' first pick ever in the expansion draft.
Like the beginning of their 29 quarterbacks which included
Brady Quinn. See, just to bring us back full circle.
My honor, if we're mentioning honorable mentions, my honorable mention is DeAndre Baker, the corner from Georgia.
Oh, deep.
Okay.
Dang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was a first round pick for the Giants,
Oh,
and it was like,
man.
oh, he's SEC defense.
I guess you could put Eli Apple in there. Isn't that right, Trey? I don't know. We've had this conversation.
See, but the thing, so I if we're talking Giants corners in particular, that is
no one cares about the Giants. Let's move on. I'm
Yeah.
fucking with you, Mike.
No, I know. No,
nobody cares about the Giants. Let's move on.
Shut up, Jay. Go ahead, Mike. Mike's like shocked right now. We like put him in a deer in the headlight.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, well, nobody cares about Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so you can sit over
I'll be the first to say, Caleb Williams sweepstakes, bring it home. Baby.
Nope, he's gonna be. Nope.
Go on with what you're saying. God damn it.
Oh well, from a Giants perspective, Eli Apple at least had at least one productive season with the Giants. DeAndre Baker had a lackluster.
Take his time for our signature. We're going to take away the Grandpa J for Squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys missed out on last week, we have revamped Stump the Squad, baby. We are going with let's get to episode 100 and give one of us that championship belt. So we changed the structure here. What we're doing is cumulative wins up until episode number 100. Yours truly won the first new format last year, so I'm up 1 on the whole team. And I'm looking to keep it that way this week. Same rules apply. You get +2 if you get something right. You get -2 if you get the question wrong. Person with the most points at the end of Stump the Squad gets the dub for the week. We're going for 2 in a row tonight. Well, 2 in a row back to back. John, do you have a question tonight that's going to stump the squad?
No, I'm good. Yes, I do, and it's a Super Bowl question. Because who doesn't love NFL? And NFL starts in less than 3 weeks, and we are hyped for the season, everyone. So my question is, the Super Bowl with the most viewership is 2009, 2012, 2015, 2022.
I feel like I'm being baited with 2012.
2022.
Mike?
One more time for me.
09, 2012, 2015, 2022.
12 was the year you guys beat out Team Perfect, right?
No, that was 08, but it was the second one.
So that was 9 then. Yeah.
No,
it was
2011.
Okay, so we're going with the year it started, not the year it happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
2012.
Like, Super Bowl would have been in 2009.
No, beat Team Perfect in the 07-08 season.
Okay. The game took place in 2008, February 2008.
Yes.
Right.
The 2012 game was the 49ers and the Ravens.
So it was the year after. Okay.
Come on, fellas. Let's go.
Yeah, give me that 49ers Ravens Super Bowl. I'll take that one.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. 49ers Ravens.
All right, we're locked in here. I have successfully stumped the squad. It is 2015 with 114 million viewerships. And I forgot to keep the stat up. I forget which Super Bowl that was, but it was 2015 was the Super Bowl.
It had to be what?
Seahawks Pats?
Yeah,
yes.
I remember watching that with a Patriots fan who fell asleep because he thought they were going to lose. And he woke up just in time for us to turn back to him and go, dude, you guys won. He's like, ah!
How the fuck did he fall asleep?
Oh, for a fan.
Hold on. How did he fall asleep right on the goal? The game
No, he fell asleep before that.
But they were
a fan to me.
But they were up. That doesn't make
Yeah,
any sense.
Seattle went up late.
Listen.
They were up. Seattle went up late. Then
Go to late. But they're that crazy catch on the sideline. They always get forgotten about that.
Yeah, and then they went up to score, and the Seahawks are trying to score to win the game, and so that's weird that he would like go to sleep like right in that crunch time.
Yo,
I believe he went. I believe he fell asleep. I believe he fell asleep the previous time Seattle went up because he thought they were going to lose.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not a true fan.
I don't know.
He's not a true fan, and we don't want to hear from him.
If the man is giving up on Brady at that point in Brady's career, come on.
Okay, so we're going to keep this with the NFL because it's almost NFL season.
Let's go.
So today's Stump the Squad question is, how many players have won the league MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season?
Ooh.
We have 7, 11, 13, 15.
11.
7. What was it?
7, 11, 13, 15.
Won
7.
the Super Bowl and the MVP. Yeah, I'm going to go 7.
Won the league MVP and the Super Bowl in the same season.
I'm going to go 11. I'm going to go 13.
7.
Okay, so we have a 7 for Mike.
11 for Grandpa Jay.
11 for Jay. And 13 for John. Okay, so today I have successfully stumped John and Mike.
Oh, wow.
Quick thing of note. The list really quick, and pay attention to the names and you tell me what's up here. The list of the people that have done it were Bart Starr, Terry Bradshaw, Mark Mosley, Lawrence Taylor, Joe Montana, Emmitt Smith, Steve Young, Brett Favre, Terrell Davis, Kurt Warner, Patrick Mahomes. What's missing?
Tom Brady.
Yes. Tom Brady never did that. I was shocked looking at this and said, damn, Tom Brady's never in the same season won a Super Bowl and the league MVP.
I was going to say more generally the 2000s.
It's crazy.
Well, 2000s happened, but at the Tom Brady.
I thought Aaron Rodgers won MVP of the year. He won, but I guess he didn't.
No.
I can't remember who won it, but
I don't think it was him. I think it was Big Ben, actually, to be honest with you.
Big Ben never won MVP.
He didn't? Because he had a really good season.
He had a great year, but he didn't win MVP.
Honestly, it's probably Peyton Manning that year.
No, it was Eli.
100%. Won MVP?
Oh, definitely was not Eli.
Yeah, no, it was 100% Eli.
MVP of his house, yes. That's about it. He named MVP of the family. Cooper is.
Oh, of course Cooper is.
All right, so speaking of that, Mike, what you got for us today?
Okay. So let's keep it NFL. We were talking earlier about busts. So which of the following quarterbacks had the least amount of passing yards in their career in the NFL?
NFL.
A, Jake Locker. B, Jamarcus Russell. C, Matt Leinart. Or D, Christian Ponder.
Oh, my God. What
the? You brought Matt Leinart, and Jamarcus Russell did.
And Christian Ponder.
Christian Ponder. D.
Oh, okay, hold on. That was a lot of no. I know Jay took.
I didn't say
Ponder.
Christian Ponder.
Christian Ponder. Trey, you said.
I need the answers again.
Oh, okay. A, Jake Locker. B, Jamarcus Russell. C, Matt Leinart. Or D, Christian Ponder.
Actually played. Christian Ponder played. I'm gonna go with the Locker guy. Sounds like a fake name.
Doesn't it though?
It does.
Jake
I know
Locker?
he's not. I know he's not, but like it sounds like a. No, I know that. I just like it. Just that sounds like a fake name.
That's
yeah. I'm gonna go with Jamarcus.
I'm going Jamarcus here.
Okay, so we got two Jamarcuses and a Ponder.
Yeah, Jamarcus played from behind in every game.
Today, I have successfully stumped the squad.
Yeah, it's Matt Leinart.
It's Matt Leinart.
I was going to say that.
Not
so,
him
to hold true to Trey's statements from earlier.
Yeah, once again, it was true for Matt Leinart.
2005, bust or bust.
Before I give this, John, as the scorekeeper, do we have a chance at a tiebreaker?
All of us are going to tie, so I guess I don't know.
Okay, so
I should be up.
No, you're up. So here's the score: Jamie at -2, me at -4, Trey at -4, Mike at -4.
so
we can all tie.
We could all tie if you get it wrong. If we all get it wrong. No,
if we all get it right. If we all get it right,
if we get it right,
if we all get it wrong, Jamie wins.
Right.
Then Jamie's up.
And boy, oh boy, did I choose a great question for tonight. So in the theme of sports movies, in the theme of sports movies, the first renowned sports movie ever made was called The Knockout. Can you tell me what year that movie was released? Was it 1912, 1914, 1921, or 1925?
1921.
One more time. The Knockout was the first renowned sports movie to ever be recognized. Was it made in 1912, 1914, 1921, or 1925?
1921.
1925.
1912, 1921,
1921, 1925.
Yeah, let me get a little 14 action here.
So Trey, you're 25. Mike, you're 21. John, you're 14.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, I wish I could say I won, but I have successfully stumped Trey and Mike. The answer is 1914.
It's down to us again.
Okay.
14 is a bad.
Sounds like Mike already has a tiebreaker.
Yes. That's why I held off.
All right. So give me something in the ballpark this
How
time.
many
Last time?
Okay.
Yards.
I have to pick. You know what? Because you're right. Because he is the user-generated NCAA game player. Tell me, guys, closest wins. How many career passing? Yeah, wins.
Okay.
Closest to the number wins. How many career passing yards did user-generated player Jake Locker have in the NFL? And after this, I will give you the rest of their totals as well. Just because I want to.
Oh my God. How many passing yards does he have?
How many career NFL passing yards does user-generated quarterback Jake Locker have? Jake Locker, by the way, to tie it back to the previous,
he's
was
not
the
a
follow-up.
He's not a fake player, everyone. He's a real player.
Yeah, he's a real player. He's the follow-up quarterback to Vince Young in Tennessee.
Oh, Jesus.
That's right.
How many career yards?
Career passing yards in the NFL.
5,672.
Just realized I might force myself to have to do math.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will. So you better get your calculator ready. Last week I was like way over. So I'm going to say, he said 5,672. Jamie did. I'm going to say, I'm going to go with even 6,000.
Okay, we have a winner. This week's Stump the Squad winner, taking a now commanding 2-0 lead, is Jamie. As you both went over.
It's like 30. I'm going to guess 3,200.
It's like 4,160.
No.
I threw my pen.
Jake Locker finished his career with 4,967 yards.
So you didn't have to do math. You're welcome.
No, I didn't have to do math.
Yeah.
By the way, Jay, Christian Ponder leads the group I gave you with 6,658.
Okay.
Wow.
He had some surprising seasons.
Well, no, because he did. Because he played full seasons with the
He played some full seasons.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, like, I knew he was eliminated immediately, but I thought Liner because he got hurt a lot. And also he was back up to – he was in Arizona, right?
Yeah,
he was back up in Arizona behind Carson.
Kurt.
Well, Kurt, and then, right. Then they replaced him with Carson.
Right.
He went to Houston and backed up Schaub for the last
whoever.
Yeah.
Whoever
TJ Yates.
Well, congratulations to Grandpa Jay on his two-time victory. He's up 2-0 in the standings right now. But like he said, episode 100 is when we're going to crown a champion here. God damn you, Grandpa Jay.
Listen, still a lot of game to be played. Still a lot of game to be played.
The old wise man.
Yes. Yeah, of course. He's the one that always complains about us, you and I, taking our questions too far back in time. This dude takes it back to the 1920s.
And he could go all the way.
Listen, Jay, we all know what I can do. Don't make me
don't be
rattle
so
off an
cocky.
8. Well,
Okay, -6.
Talking big shit.
It happens.
-6 and -6. Mike, you haven't got a question right in 2 weeks. Are you okay?
Oh, don't worry. I'll be fine.
Mike,
I'm
Mike,
gonna go reset.
You need to put a fruity drink back in your cup, bro.
Oh my god, bro!
He had a fruity
You
cup.
mean
He had a fruity
limeade?
cup.
Let's go back.
That ain't fruity, bro. That's bitters.
Mike,
Don't
we gotta
worry,
take it
I'm
all the
about
way
to-
back to episode 69 for you to get a question right. Wow. You're on -14 right now in total points.
It happens. I'll get there. Don't worry.
The brain.
Let you guys feel comfortable.
Yeah, we're about to go. And we're gonna be up 1 on them next week anyway, so
Yeah.
we gotta get a
another
lead
8.
anyways.
I'll just do another 8.
So wait, do we all officially need to take a week off if Mike's taking one off to make it fair?
No. It's fine. You can. I'll catch up. Don't worry.
No, he just know he can.
No, Jamie, he put his PTO in. I approved his PTO. I denied both yours. So,
But by the way, so on that list it goes Ponder, Locker, then Russell at 4,083, and then just short of Russell is Leinart at 4,065.
Oh, that's close.
So he missed it by literally like a pass.
well, fellas, that's our Stump the Squad new way for Grandpa Jay's up 2-0 on all of us. So we gotta redeem this next week, Grandpa Jay. Any final thoughts heading into the weekend, fellas? Yeah, Mikey Mike is not going to be on the show next week. So some news for Stump the Squad. We're going to have a special guest. Stay tuned. We'll let you know here next week who that is. But yes, Mikey Mike, enjoy that vacation. And Grandpa Jay, see you later.
No, Jay, I'm supposed to be the one going on vacation. You're not the one that's supposed to leave. I'm the one that leaves right now.
Hey, Trey, you be perfect, man.
I will.
Am I supposed to know something here?
Yeah, I feel like this is an inside thing that
don't worry about it.
And the Friday Night Lights.
Don't worry. Yes, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
Chavez tells Mike, you be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys just had a moment. Okay, cool.
They were going to college.
John and I are like,
Mike, who do you play for?
USA.
And that's how we're going to end this show here this week, everyone. Tune in next week. We've got a special guest. Make sure you tune in. We'll drop some hints on who it might be next week. So look forward to speaking with everyone. Everyone have a good weekend. Cinco Squad out.